One Piece chapter 1122, it is titled The Time is Right, and I want to talk about the cover page really quickly because it is a cover page, a smoker. It looks really cool and is one of my favorite cover pages, and this is actually based off of a cover page that Horikoshi did when he was 15. So back in 2002, Horikoshi, he sent Oda a fan art and it was this, and Oda decided to redraw this for a cover page, and the reason why he did this is to pay homage to Horikoshi now that the My Hero manga has officially ended. And I think that this is really cool to seeing Oda show love to Horikoshi. I love it anytime manga authors and artists they do stuff like this because it shows love to the other mangaka as well as it shows respect that they have for each other. In the last chapter, we got a panel of different characters that are going to play a key role regarding the One Piece. I'm not necessarily sure if all of them are going to fight at Lafto for the One Piece, but it's safe to assume that all these characters at least have some importance for the final saga. With the fate of the world resting in the hands of pirates, I wonder if that is going to change some of people's perspectives on them, specifically showcasing how not all pirates are bad. You know, for example, there's the Straw Hats or the Red Hair Pirates. Gotta talk about Koby because, well, the community's been clowning him, but like, well, what the hell did y'all want him to say? I mean, he said that he's going to try and stop Luffy's dream from being realized, and I don't think any of us in the One Piece community think that Koby can actually achieve such a thing, at least at this stage, because of the power gap between the two. I mean, Koby, he's only a captain. We saw what he did at Hachino, so I respect him for that. But compared to Luffy, who was boxing against Kaido, yeah, I know which one's going to be my pick. I do respect Koby here though, because he's not being a punk, a little hoe, like he was at the beginning of the series, and I didn't really like that version of Koby. I love seeing him now. I love seeing his growth, especially where he's come from 2 years ago. I really love this version because he's strong, he's confident, and look at the honesty impact what he's able to do. And I'd be a liar if I said I wasn't more excited, and this could be a hot take, but I'm more excited to see the honesty impact over Garp's Galaxy Impact. I mean, that's recently been animated, and don't get me wrong, it was hyped, and I plan on doing a video talking about it more in depth why. But man, Koby, he's such a character that I was never going to expect him to grow on me this much, but I really love him and I can't wait to see his role in the final saga. We got to really see Buggy and Blackbeard's reaction during Vegapunk's announcement, really for the first time. Buggy's doing Buggy things where he's playing at the hearts of the subordinates, talking about my world. No, this is our world. And you can hate on Buggy all you want, but he's actually not that bad of a leader, and he can definitely pull at the heartstrings of his subordinates. Crocodile and Mihawk, they're doing what they always do in this situation. I love how they're like, sit like Buggy's a little dog. We know how they're truly the leaders behind the shadows. Then there's Blackbeard. Earlier in the arc, Caribou, he asked to be brought to Blackbeard in order to tell him some information, and this would be about the ancient weapons. In this chapter, Katarina Devon made contact with Teach, talking about Caribou wanting to have an official word with Blackbeard. And I will say, in this panel, Blackbeard looks in pretty good shape, even though he recently fought against Law. So maybe that means Law didn't do as much damage as we thought, which would kind of suck, especially with how strong Law is with his Devil Fruit. I guess you could also argue that that just means Blackbeard just built different, but nevertheless, seeing Blackbeard and Buggy in the same panel, it makes me wonder if the Blackbeard Pirates and Cross Guild, if they're going to have a clash soon, especially because Buggy and Blackbeard, they share a common past, and Crocodile talked about building a utopia with a strong military nation, kind of similar to Blackbeard wanting to establish the pirate island. And this is just a thought. Let me know how you guys feel about it in the comment section below. There is so much chaos that is going on. The Sunny is falling with Nostro in pursuit, and it appears that Zoro and him are going to clash, and they don't, which I'm fine with as a Zoro fan. Number one, because they already got a clash earlier in the arc, and I didn't think that we were going to get anything else, especially because with how a swords fight or swordsman fight is, I think it would be better if it wasn't rushed, especially because we speculate that Nostro is going to be Zoro's final opponent, well, at least for the final war. But during all of this chaos, Emet is talking to Luffy, saying his regrets since he looks just like Joyboy. Some people are a little bit concerned with this statement because they say, or it's looking like these people that were from the past, they look just like characters in the present, similar to Yu-Gi-Oh! How back then in the past, the Pharaoh or Yami Yugi looks almost identical to the Yugi Moto that we see in the current story. And it's not just him, there are other characters that look exactly identical, which I guess you could also say Kaiba and many more. Some people are like, uh-oh, there's Ryuma who looks just like Zoro, there's Lily that looks like Vivi, and then Joyboy looks like Luffy, and that's probably the path that we're going on. And well, until we see exactly what Joyboy looks like, I'm not going to necessarily be concerned, because Luffy and Joyboy, they both have access to Gear 5th, or that version of the Goma Goma no Mi, the Awakening. So I'm not really concerned, because we'll just have to wait and see what Joyboy really looks like when he's not in his awakened form. I think what stood out to me the most about this statement is that Emet said he failed to make Joyboy king, and we know that Emet and Joyboy was allies, but I wonder if this confirms that they were a part of the same crew. We also know that Joyboy was the first ever pirate, but we don't actually know what his intentions were, and based off of this, you could argue that Joyboy wanted to be king of the pirates, but there's also a possibility that, just like Zebek, or I guess you could also argue that Zebek was influenced based off of Joyboy, that he wanted to become the king of the world. We don't know why exactly the ancient kingdom and the allied countries fought, but since Luffy believes the pirate king is the most free person, maybe the war was over what is now known as the world government trying to take away Joyboy's freedom, which would be him being king of the world. After their conversation finished, and it appeared the catalyst was Luffy saying that his name was Monkey D. Luffy. This kind of reminds me a little bit of Emu attacking Cobra after he brought up the moniker D. Emet pulled out a rope and yanked it, and all of a sudden a tremendous amount of Conquerors Haki was going everywhere. It split the sky, knocked people unconscious. The Gorosei turned back to normal and went back to Mary Geoise. Well, all of them that were summoned by Saturn. But if you guys have made it this far into the video and you're enjoying what you're watching, let me know by leaving a like, subscribing to the channel, and hitting the notification bell. We pump out different content all the time. I gotta mention this part because it's kind of important. Mars is waiting for the other Gorosei members to return. We've never seen him sitting before, so that's kind of funny. But I also want to mention the chapter that Luffy sent him flying with the combined attack. That also means that the summoning was undone, so I wonder what the criteria for that is. Is it Haki? Is it a certain range? Is it a certain amount of damage? Is it a certain amount of time? Because the summoning for these two instances, they were undone for completely different reasons, and I'm interested to learn more about that. I will say the Joyboy Haki is probably, it is the biggest Haki feat, or at least Conquerors Haki's feat, that is showcased in the series. It was so powerful, it had this ninja emu twerking. He was down on his knees and shaking that thing. Seeing his reaction, him huffing and puffing, it makes me wonder if the theory that the Gorosei are actually direct or linked to Emu's body and soul, if that's a thing. I wonder if that's why Emu felt this Conquerors all the way from Mary Geoise, or it could possibly just be that Joyboy's Conquerors is just that powerful. This isn't the first time that we've seen a Joyboy's Conqueror split the sky. Luffy, whenever he transformed, he was emulating all that Conquerors, and it was going everywhere, and he split the sky on his own. And this is important because typically we've seen the sky, besides when it was Joyboy, the only time the sky was split was when two strong individuals clashed. So how did this happen? There's a few possibilities that I thought of. I do want to specify, I'm not all-knowing. One of these could be correct, or none of these could be correct. This is nothing but me speculating until Oda confirms it. Skipping around a bit, Joyboy mentioned that he is going to use this knot and seal his strongest haki within it. So the first possibility is that since technically in the past the technology is way more advanced than what's in the current story, Joyboy could use some of the advanced tech in order to store his conquerors. The second and third points, I guess you could argue they tie together. That's a great pun, I wasn't even trying to do that. But we know that you can imbue conquerors into objects. We've seen it with different meta weapons like Kaido's clubs, there's Zoro's swords, and Shank's swords as well. So being able to imbue conquerors into a rope, that wouldn't be shocking at all. And also, if you look back when Nami was at Weatheria, we saw her learning about wind knots, and if you snap the rope, it would summon either a storm, a gentle breeze, or a strong wind. It's also confirmed that other knots can be grown in the garden, and this one was a haki knot. Could this mean that Joyboy is either from Weatheria or he went there in the ancient past? The last thing I thought of is maybe this is what the pinnacle of what you can do with conquerors is. Similar to what happened with the Gorosei leaving their form, Shanks did the same thing to Green Bull when he used conquerors in Wano. Since Conquerors Haki is forcing will on others, I wonder if Joyboy's conquerors is so strong that he was able to send the Gorosei out of their forms, knock out all these marines, split the sky, send the Gorosei back to Mary Geoise, and Emu feel his presence. Like I said, I don't have a definitive answer for this. This is just me speculating. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. Before we got the flashback of Emet and Joyboy, Saturn is face to face with Emet, and the reason why Saturn didn't return to Mary Geoise, it's very simple, because unlike the other four, he was already there and didn't get summoned. He was the summoner and not the summonee. I don't think there was anything too crazy that happened in the flashback. I kind of mentioned it earlier. It confirmed that that was Joyboy's haki and not Emet's. I love this wholesome interaction of Joyboy talking with Emet, explaining how he's going to save him from the past. And there's a few things that I want to mention. Joyboy isn't a giant, which was a popular theory within the community, and the reason why this has been disproved is because if you look at the size difference between Emet and Joyboy, it confirms it. Joyboy did wear a straw hat, and this could very well be the one under Mary Geoise, but at the same time, it's kind of hard to tell because it's a big ass hat, but it's weird because the size difference, you never know what it is in one piece. So Joyboy, the theory of him still being a buccaneer, that's possible, as well as maybe this hat is meant for a giant and it was Sun God Nika in the past. Lastly, if you look at one of Joyboy's arm and legs, it looks different from the typical person. I remember back in the day, Oda, he talked about introducing a pirate with an eye patch eventually, so maybe this was Joyboy and he's the one that looked like a traditional pirate since he was the first one with an eye patch and a peg leg. But that's it for chapter 1122. A lot of stuff was revealed in this chapter, a lot of things that I can talk about and make videos about, and I have time because we're on a break next week. I believe it's not an Oda break, shockingly, it's a weekly Shonen Jump break, so stay tuned for additional content. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok is on the screen and in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.